This is a breaking news alert from 24-Hour News 8.
Storm devastation in Portland.
We need to tell you that no one is seriously hurt in this aftermath, and they do not believe that anyone is missing. But there is a lot of damage along East Grand River Avenue and some of the surrounding neighborhoods.
So far, no confirmation that it was a tornado, but our meteorologist on the ground there says it sure looks like that's what hit. Hi, everybody. I'm Brian Sterling.
And I'm Susan Shaw. We do have crews all over Portland talking to those who narrowly survived.
And we continue our live coverage with 24-Hour News 8's Marley Ginter, who is on the ground field anchoring from storm-ravaged Portland tonight. Marley, what are you seeing?
Oh, Brian and Sue, it is just amazing to watch all of the emergency crews out here right now, still trying to piece everything together. If you take a look far behind me, you can see where power crews are out here trying to restore power this way. But we did speak with the fire chief earlier, who said that a lot of the power is back up and running, but of course they do still have some spotty areas. Then if you look down, you can see where there's some caution tape that's put up around the buildings down that way, but really that caution tape is up all over this area. There isn't just one area that's blocked off, but several buildings that are blocked off. You can see this road has caution tape keeping people back as well, and a lot of that is because we're not sure if these buildings are stable enough yet. You can see this was the Rite Aid behind me right here, and that you can see the wall has actually been incredibly damaged. Just so much that we've been seeing out here. It's just amazing to hear some of these stories. I want to walk right now over to Ken Coker because he actually has been speaking with people all day long as well, hearing just an incredible story of survival, Ken.
Yeah, Marley, this is Chuck and Sue Burns. Now, they actually live in that greenhouse. Now, they were upstairs when this hit. Just tell us what happened, how this went down.
Honestly, it was so fast. I was talking on the phone with my daughter-in-law, and she was saying how bad the rain was at her house, 2 miles away. And I said it wasn't even raining at our house, and the next thing I knew, it started raining. And then the rain didn't just come down, it started coming down sideways. And then our walls started to shake, and pictures were falling off the... Yeah. We have a 6-foot mirror on our dining room wall, and it just started to shake, and I was so afraid that the mirror was going to explode that I quickly dropped to the floor, and at that time the beam was going by me and the roof flew off, and he was holding on.
Well, when I started hearing the walls crack, I ran towards the basement door to tell her, let's get to the basement. I got as far as the basement door, could only hang on to the knob and a chair beside it until the roof was gone, the walls were gone, and couldn't even open the door.
And are you feeling anything? Is this, your roof is being pulled off? What are you feeling?
Yeah.
Pressure.
Pressure. It was, I was afraid of being
Sucked out.
Drawn out of the house. I was scared to death. Seeing the roof going, I thought, oh my God. I've seen pictures where people go too. I didn't want to go. So.
Now, you guys weren't hurt. I mean, you some minor injuries, right? A hurt ankle, a scraped hand. I saw you hold it, your shoulder, your rib.
Other than that, it's just bruises.
We're all right.
Okay. Yeah. And there were no warnings. Were there no sirens?
No.
None
just came out of nowhere.
None. Yeah, nothing.
Kind of wondering what happened there.
I didn't think about it at the time. You know, we're thinking about it now, but we didn't think about it at the time.
Yeah, at the time it was just, it happened
just a
so
matter
fast.
Of survival at that time, you know. So.
Right. Well, really glad you're okay. It's pretty
Thank
amazing
you.
story. So,
Thank you.
all right, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Now, that's something we'll be checking later is why there were no sirens in this storm.
Right. I'm sure a lot of people are wondering that question, Ken. It's just amazing to hear their story. Of course, when they see that the roof is going off, and they actually thought for a brief second they were going to get sucked out of that house.
And the fact that they're barely hurt, I mean, that's the amazing part, especially when you look at that house. That's the white beam back there, I don't know if you can see it, is just grazed her head.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now that really is an amazing story of survival. Ken, thank you for that story. And you know, we have been telling you all day that there's been some sort of a controversy, if you could say, about whether or not this was actually a tornado or straight line winds that we've seen here. So I want to bring in Storm Team 8's meteorologist, Ellen Baca. I truly love hearing your assessment of all of this, especially with Storm Team 8's background and all of the experience that you guys have. You were able to walk around this area, take a look at some of the damage. Was this a tornado?
It's looking like a tornado. Earlier today in Wyoming, that was a microburst. This, with this long track damage and the fact that we had not just one, not just two, but several homes that were almost exploded from the inside, is a sign that we usually look for that's indicative of a tornado. So with damage this extensive, I'm thinking EF1 definitely. It might be borderline a little bit stronger. Some of the historic places that we've been seeing, some of the historic churches in town, there was all three sustained damage, and those are some pretty powerful buildings there. They're built well, So the fact that those sustained damage, it really means that we had a very powerful storm through here.
And give us an idea of how you really know then. When you're looking at some of these, some of the damage that you're seeing, what is a red flag as to, okay, this wasn't straight line winds, this was a tornado? What, if you could list off some of the things that you saw, that's a red flag.
Right, a huge red flag. When we were touring some of those neighborhoods, we saw a 2x4 and it was completely shoved into a roof. It didn't just hit the roof, it wasn't just settled on the roof, it was shoved into the roof. We also saw countless windows, dozens and dozens of windows that were just exploded from the inside. So the glass was actually pushed outward. And sometimes we see that with tornadoes. The air is pushed into the building and then that difference in pressure explodes one side out. So we saw a few homes like that, and thank goodness no one was injured from this. Everyone's just walking. They're just walking and surveying the damage, and all of them say the same. There's no warning, and man, we are lucky.
Yes, definitely in amazement. So many people. When will we might know that this was actually a tornado or not?
The National Weather Service is on scene already. I've been kind of talking with a few of them that have been looking at the preliminary damage, and they're thinking it is a tornado. However, the official ruling with damage this condemning is probably going to be coming down here shortly.
Okay, then we will definitely look for that. Meteorologist Ellen Baca, thank you so much for all of that insight. Of course, we have had reporters all over this area. 24-hour News 8, Joe LaFergie was one of those very first on the scene. He has been able to see so much today. So, Joe, what are you seeing now?
Yeah, Marley, not only seeing so much, but hearing some of the stories, and here is one example. Take a look at this heating and cooling office here on the south side of town. Take a look just above that door. I talked to the woman who was sitting in that office. Now, she's working down, trying to make sure people keep out of here, but she told me she's sitting in that office, a wind came through, it seemed to kind of lift the roof off, and if you look at that twig just above the door, that pierced the side of that office building. It came right through, right above her head. That shows you the power of this wind, the storm. And we're really on the edge of the commercial and residential district here in Portland. Over here, the residential district, and you see all these homes. This is one example. The roof came right off. This is what landed in the front yard. This is a remainder of a tree. Just amazing destruction. You see part of the roof right over there. That is what this wind did, just lifting it right off. And as we continue to move down the street, a lot of dangers here too. Down power lines. At one time they were a little concerned about gas lines. Even walking can be dangerous. Take a look at that. That is an insulator off a power line. That's glass and ceramic. That could cut somebody terribly. So you got to really watch where you're walking. Let's move on down here. We're on Charlotte at Grand River. You see state police pouring into the area, rescue crews pouring into the area all throughout the afternoon. Pardon me. And you look down Grand River, due southeast, and you can really see the destruction down there. The difficulty tonight, all these emergency crews, they have really flooded the area. The good news is they don't believe anybody's trapped. The tough part about all this, they have to make sure. So technical rescue crews from fire departments, rescue teams from all out Ionia, obviously, Eaton County, Ingham County, they're all here concentrating on this area. It will take all these people. State police are bringing dogs in as well, canine units. They have to secure the city. They have to make sure nobody gets in here that doesn't belong here. But then, pardon me, then they have to go through all these structures that have been damaged, all these collapsed structures, piece by piece, bit by bit, making sure they don't move anything the wrong way and get a further collapse on it. That is a delicate situation, delicate operation. They'll be doing that throughout the night and making sure nobody else is in here. They don't think anybody's trapped. They're going to make sure. So it'll be a long night here in Portland. Back to you.
All right, Joe, and that is definitely what we've been hearing, is that it will be a long night. In fact, when we spoke with the police chief and fire chief earlier, just a few minutes ago, they said they expect to be out here for several more hours as the canine units are going in just to assess the damage and make sure that some of these buildings out here are stable. Now, earlier, we told you about the Goodwill and just how that building right now appears to be a total loss. There were actually employees and customers inside that store when this storm hit. So much damage as people watched the roof collapse. In fact, we spoke with a mother who had to shield her children from all of the damage.
It all really happened so fast that I don't know if I've quite processed it yet, but I know that we're all really lucky to be alive. It could have been a lot worse.
Can't even imagine what is going through so many minds out here today as we have listened to just story of survival after story. It really is incredible to hear so many people be able to tell those stories and explain how thankful they are that they are all right tonight. Brian and Sue.
Certainly good news. Positive outcomes from there. It could have been so much worse. Thank heaven it wasn't. Marley, thank you.
Absolutely. Marley Ginter reporting live. Thank you, Marley. And as we continue to cover the impact of this storm, we're now looking ahead to what might be coming tonight.
We go now to Storm Team 8 Chief Meteorologist Bill Steffen. He's in the tracking center with the very latest information. Bill?
Well, the severe thunderstorm watch is over for the area, but we certainly are not out of the woods when it comes to showers and storms. Here's what's going on. You can see that last line chugging out of the state right now, and we have a little bit of a lull in the action. We're getting a pretty strong south wind right now. We've had gusts to 37 at Muskegon last hour, 30 at Grand Rapids and Battle Creek. Stay out of Lake Michigan. You're getting some very strong rip currents and structural currents this evening along the piers and breakwaters, especially Grand Haven. Do not jump off the pier, as some young people are inclined to do every now and then. Very dangerous when you get a situation like this. A lot of currents going on out there at the current time. Showers and storms west of Chicago moving east. Look at all the new showers and storms that have sprung to life, and if those can hold together, they will make it across the lake here in, about 3-4 hours time. You're going to be looking at about 9:30 at the lake shore and maybe a little after 10 for Grand Rapids. We might pick up another shower or storm. Nothing severe out there in Wisconsin at this time. For the next couple of hours, it looks like this, kind of breezy, partly sunny, a little bit of dim sunshine out there. Very warm and humid. We're back up to 82 in Grand Rapids, 84 now in Battle Creek. Look at those strong winds out there. Those are sustained winds, 22 miles an hour at Grand Rapids. As you can see, temperatures here hold up in the 70s this evening, and there is that chance of a shower or a thunder shower anytime after around 9 o'clock. Back to you.
Okay, Bill Steffen, thank you for that. And before we go to break, we want to remind you to download the Storm Team 8 weather app.
That's for sure. In times like these, it is the way for you to stay on top of the weather to keep you and your family safe. You can download it free in the App Store. Make sure and stay with us. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes.
It was back in 2013 when voters in Grand Rapids voted to decriminalize pot in the city. That made getting caught with marijuana a fine over jail time.
But now people are not paying up, and 24-Hour News 8's Tom Hillen sat down with a city official today to see what their plan is to hold people accountable. He joins us in studio now. Tom.
Well, Brian and Susan, this is something that the city says they recognize as a problem and are working to get it under control.
$85,000 is a lot of money, period. I don't think we had any expectations for the rate of payment for people receiving this municipal civil infraction.
$85,000, that's how much is owed the city since getting caught with pot became a fine of about $75 with court costs. In 2014, 35% of people hit with the fine didn't pay up. So far this year, that number is 44%.
There's more unpaid money for the marijuana civil infraction than for all of the others combined. But it's a problem, and so if we're going to try to keep people out of jail and not arrest them for minor offenses, then people have to pay. It's that you can't have it both ways.
There is a way the city can go after people. State law would allow the city to charge people who refuse to pay the civil infraction with a misdemeanor.
Is that something the city is considering?
Yeah, we'll be looking at that as well. I'm really not excited about putting someone in jail for not paying their fine, but if that's the only recourse that we have in the city, then we'll have to consider it.
Still with the money owed, the city says the change from making being caught with pot a misdemeanor to a civil infraction has been a success, given the number of people getting caught with marijuana has not increased since the change in 2013.
We're very pleased with the municipal civil infractions law. I am disappointed that some are not paying their fines, and the city's going to have to follow through.
Now, while $85,000 is a lot of money, the city and the court say it's a very small portion of the budget as a whole.
All right, Tom Hillen, thank you for that. Coming up next, we'll take it back to the damage in Portland.
You'll hear more from that mom who protected her 2 young kids when the storm hit and the building collapsed.
Welcome back. We're just learning that exit 77 on Interstate 96 is closed there in Portland now due to the storm damage. And again, police are asking drivers to avoid the area.
They have a lot of work to do. And 24-hour News 8's Danny Carlson is talking to a survivor now of the storm, someone who was in the Goodwill building when it was slammed by that likely tornado. Danny?
Yeah, we're in a neighborhood about a half a mile outside of downtown Portland, and this is a scene that you'll see wherever you drive pretty much in Portland. I'm 5'10". You can see this root bulb almost as tall as me, and when it came up, it also pulled the sidewalk up with it, and we've seen scenes like this pretty much everywhere as we've driven through town. Now you'll probably hear that noise. Before we were talking about that chorus of chainsaws. Now you can see tree services are out here just trying to cut up these trees, cut up these branches, make these streets actually able to drive down. And a lot of people are coming down here, driving down here. You can see riding their bikes, just trying to figure out what's going on, take a look at all that damage. But amidst all of this, we did talk to a woman who is just feeling so incredibly grateful tonight because she was in that Goodwill store with her 2 young sons as the roof came down, and she explained to us the moments right before it happened.
I definitely had the instinct to cover the kids, and knowing that the roof was likely going to cave after those windows blow, I know that that's from pressure, so a number of things could happen, so I knew I had to protect them.
So you heard any mom's instinct. She wants to cover her kids as soon as she knows that there's any sort of danger. She told us she didn't hear anything. She didn't hear any sirens. She didn't hear that telltale freight train sound that tornadoes make. All she said she heard was the glass breaking, and the next thing she knew, the roof had come down. Now we do plan to stay out here in Portland tonight and have more updates for you coming up tonight at 24-hour News 8 at 10 and 11. But for now, we are live in Portland. Danny Carlson, 24-hour News 8.
Okay, Danny, thank you. And after the storms rolled through West Michigan, including the one that left all the damage behind in Portland, we are looking ahead to tonight. We're tracking what's next. Storm Team 8 Chief Meteorologist Bill Steffen is up next with that forecast.
Always tracking, always alerting. This is Storm Team 8.
Well, we're in a little bit of a lull right now here in West Michigan. The line of thunderstorms that affected us early afternoon raced east already into Ontario. You can see more showers and storms southwest of Chicago drifting off toward the southeast away from us. There's a new severe thunderstorm watch for northern Wisconsin and parts of the UP, but we're tracking the showers and storms here in Wisconsin. Those are moving off to the east. Nothing severe with those at the current time. We'll see if we can track them for you. That activity moving east at a pretty good clip, and as it approaches the area here, we think at least some of these are going to hold together. These are mostly just some showers. The leading edge of those on shore about 9:26 into Grand Rapids about 10 o'clock. And so as those come on through, certainly the possibility for an additional shower or storm. Any storms you do get could contain some gusty winds and the possibility of some heavy rainfall. For the next several hours, we'll be dry. I think overnight we'll have that chance of a shower, thunder shower through at least about 2 a.m. We can look for warm and humid conditions. Temperature this evening holds up in the mid-70s. And look at those readings out there right now. We're 82 in Grand Rapids. That's our high for the day so far as we're getting a little bit of sunshine out there. Battle Creek up to 84. Regional Airport in Holland at 83. It's gotten pretty windy. The wind's steady 22 in Grand Rapids, 24 in Muskegon. Muskegon has had a gust of 37 here within the past hour. Those strong winds creating some strong currents on the lake. So if you're over by Lake Michigan, stay out of the water out there. There'll be some dangerous currents along the piers and breakwaters this evening. Chance for a shower or a thunderstorm yet this evening, and it's only a chance, not a sure thing. Dry and pleasant weather returns for tomorrow and on Wednesday, and then we'll have showers and a possible thunderstorm for Wednesday night late and also on Thursday. 10 o'clock tonight, our computer shows a shower thunderstorm coming into Grand Rapids. That's not a sure thing, though. Better bet would be off to the south. But this activity races eastward pretty good. By midnight, we're around Kalamazoo and Battle Creek, and after that, out of the area if this develops at all. And you can see skies generally clear to partly cloudy as we start our day tomorrow. Here's what tomorrow's going to look like. Skies in general, partly to mostly sunny. High temperature, a pleasant 79. Humidity is going to be down. Should be a nice day. It will be about 8 to 10 degrees cooler if you're going to be over by Lake Michigan. At the lake, you find waves tomorrow running about 1 to 2 feet out there, so it'll be a little bit on the choppy side. Rip current danger will be low to moderate tomorrow afternoon. Pleasant weather for the next couple of days, 79 tomorrow, 81 on Wednesday. Chance of a shower or thunderstorm comes Wednesday night into the day on Thursday. Sorry about that, Miranda, but we do have that chance of the showers and storms out there. We'll continue to track that and have an updated forecast for our first park party at Lamarck Park for you during the day tomorrow. Friday and Saturday, for the most part, dry. Temperatures in the upper 70s. We'll have a chance for showers and storms again early next week, probably coming on Monday. Hey, we got more news coming up for you next. Stay with us.
Another look tonight at that aerial video showing all of the damage in Portland tonight. Despite the devastation, no serious injuries, no fatalities.
Our crews will stay there all night where that likely tornado passed through. Our live coverage will continue at 10 and 11 tonight and throughout the night, of course, at woodtv.com. Thank you for joining us.